Hi, I'm Dr. Erin Rushing, audiologist with Comprehensive Hearing Solutions. I wanted to talk to you today about hearing as one of the five senses. When we were in elementary school, we learned about our five senses and how they gather information from the environment to send into our bodies to give us information about what's going on around us. The way that happens is through our nervous system. And there's two main parts to our nervous system. There's the central nervous system that's composed of the spinal cord and the brain, and then the peripheral nervous system. Part of the peripheral nervous system's job is to use those senses or sensory receptors to collect that information, to translate it up to the brain so that we can understand a bit about what's going on around us or receive that information so the brain can process it. So the hearing system or auditory system has components that are both peripheral and central. These are the components of the peripheral auditory system. So we have our outer ear, which has the ear canal and also the pinna. We have our middle ear, which consists of the eardrum and then the bones of the middle ear and some space in between. And then we have our inner ear, which has the cochlea, which is the organ responsible for collecting information about hearing, and then also the vestibular component or balance component of the inner ear. And the nerves that leave those organs translate the information over to the central part of the auditory system. The central part of the auditory system has different components in the brain, essentially different stations where information is further processed and or transmitted in some capacity. And so both of those components need to work together for us to have a fully functional auditory system. Audiologists have a variety of tests that we can use to test not only the peripheral system, but also the central auditory system. When we use those tests, we're looking for any breakdowns in any functions of the parts, but also deficits in auditory skills as well. So one thing to keep in mind is not only can we test to see if there's a problem with the peripheral system, but we can test for deficits in the central system as well. What do I mean by that? If we look at Erber's hierarchy of auditory skills, we start with awareness up to comprehension. So when we're on the awareness end of the spectrum, that's detecting sound. Is the ear able to detect and pick up sound or not? And then whenever we move to the comprehension level, all the way on the other end, that's more of what the central system is doing. Not only did we pick it up, did we discriminate, identify, and then do we comprehend the message? So the purpose of this was just to let you know that there's more to the auditory system than just the structures of the ear, the physical structures of that peripheral system. It goes up to the central auditory system where we actually process everything. So essentially we hear not only with the detection in the ears, but also up to the level of the brain. I hope this was helpful in understanding a little bit about the auditory system and how complicated it can be.